Hello, hello.
Las lágrimas van al cielo y vuelven a tus ojos desde el mar.
Just give me 1 second, please.
El tiempo se va y no vuelve. Tu corazón va a sanar, va a sanar, va a sanar. La tierra parece estar quieta y el sol parece girar.
Hello, hello. I hope you're hearing this music that I am sharing. Hello, Gabriela. Thinking of you, actually. Welcome. I don't know if you guys are hearing the music that is there, so maybe you're thinking I'm crazy. But just want to show you this part. Let me write here in the comments, actually. Breakup grief. That's the theme of today. Break grief. Nadie nace sabiendo. Nace sabiendo. Okay. Que morir. Okay, let me pause this music. This music, if you want to hear, it's called Sanar by Jorge Drexter. And the lyrics of the song is something that when I was going through the biggest breakup grief of my life, that literally this song came. Someone sent it to me. And it's really beautiful. I wanted to share with you. It's in Spanish. I don't know if you speak Spanish or not, but I'm gonna kind of translate two parts here, which goes like this. Las lágrimas van al cielo y vuelven a tus ojos desde el mar. El tiempo se va y no vuelve. Y tu corazón va a sanar. In English, the tears go to the sky and come back to your eyes from the ocean. Time leaves and will not come back, but your heart will heal. And then this part, no one is born knowing why love grows. Also, no one knows why love dies. But what no one is born knowing is that to die is also a life law. To die is also a life law. And this is something so, so important for us to learn as human beings, because somehow we have such a big misconception of reality, and not knowing that everything has a cycle, that the only constant in life is change, because we keep looking for control, we keep looking for safety. That's something that whenever we have this misconception, it's something that truly hurts us, makes us feel like huge pains. Maybe you, whenever you were going through a breakup, you felt that you were going to die. Literally, that hurted so much that it's like you saw no sense in life anymore. Obviously, if you look at your other breakups, if you have related with other people before, you will notice, if you're being honest with yourself, that every breakup actually had a different level of pain, right? So there are those breakups that we kind of get sad, but a little bit after we're like already over it. There are those that you truly believe that you're not going to survive it. Why does this happen? So before we go talking about the breakup grief, let's begin by talking, what is love? I think that's important that we touch this topic a little bit. Well, love, in my journey, what I have learned, and that's what I believe, a ascended masters that came here, let's say, if you believe it or not, anyways. What are all these religions, these masters, trying to teach us? In my opinion, at the end of every single spiritual teaching that we have, they are trying to teach us about love. And that's why I believe us humans living as of right now in this dimension, what we came here to learn is actually how to love unconditionally. Because somehow we believe we are capable of loving. And I want to ask you, have you ever thought about this? Do you think you are a person that is capable of loving? Or have you done a little bit of internal work as well and realized that somehow you are still not able to love unconditionally? Let me try to explain a little bit what I mean here. We love, of course, like we love in the capacity we have to love. Most of the time, this love comes with conditions. So if you don't hurt me, I will love you. If you don't betray me, I will love you. If you take care of me, I will love you. But if you hurt me, I'm not going to love you anymore. Obviously, this is not something that is obvious in our consciousness. It's not just like any other relationship, a business relationship that you go there, you shake hands, and you know what you're getting. I'm going to offer you this service and you're going to pay this much. Okay, there is no attachment there. We're talking here about something deeper, which is love. I want to invite you to ask yourself, is there anyone in your life that you think you love unconditionally? Meaning, it does not matter what that person does, you will still keep loving that person. Like nothing changes inside of you. So, truly, what I believe is in this part of our human evolution, in our consciousness right now, we still have not reached that capacity. I think we are all, if we're aware enough of what goes on inside of us, we are walking towards that. We're trying to get there, to learn how to love. There's even this Bob Marley song. You probably know which one I'm talking about. Anyways, could you be loved and be loved? So I invite you to think about this topic that I said. What are your conditions in loving the other? Okay, that's the first thing before we start talking about breakups. Now, what about relationships? Why relationships are so hard? And I'm talking about any type of relationship. It can be a family relationship, work relationship, relating to the other. Well, relationships are our biggest opportunity, the biggest opportunity we have in order to get to know our own selves. And that's why this is so hard. So, a little bit back, let's understand why relationships are so important for us humans, because that's exactly why it's hard. Well, we have to understand that it's natural for us human beings, part of our nature, that we want to relate to the other. That's the strength of our species, actually. How do we survive in this earth? We survive in this earth by community, by our intelligence, by our communication. That's how we live in this planet school called Earth. So, in our nature, there is this natural need to be part of something, to be part of a group, and also in our unconscious, to be loved. So, let's understand that this is part of us. However, as we talked a little bit here, we truly do not know how to love. And one thing that I want you to, if you have to take anything from this talk, is you cannot tell people how to love you. You can simply decide if you want to receive the love they're given to you or if you don't. That's where your power lies. However, What do we constantly do in relationships? We want the other to behave in the way we want. We want the other to do things for us in the way we want. We want the other to love us how we love, how we believe love is. If you have, I don't know if you have been in contact with this knowledge yet or no, but there is this 5 languages of love, which is just one label that actually can help us understand, but mainly explains that people feel love in different ways. So for some people, they feel loved when with service, other people with gifts, other people with quality time, and so on. So the invitation here is first of all for us to have the consciousness, have the understanding deep within our soul that the way I feel loved might be different than the way the other person feels love. In order for me to be in a relationship, I have to understand a couple of things. First, how do I feel loved? And second, can I understand how my partner actually feels loved as well? This is one of the first parts that we have to have the understanding before we start even talking about any grief of breaking up. Let's talk first about the relationship. So, whenever you are in a relationship, and you are still in that part because that's what brings us pain. That's what we don't understand that leads us to the breakup. We expect the other to be what we believe the other person should be. It is hard for us if we are not aware and conscious all the time to actually accept the love the other person is given to us. So it's interesting when we take a step back, and I started this talk by telling you that relationships are our biggest mirrors, and it's telling us about us. The other is simply there, but what you are learning from that is about you. So how am I, if the other is relating to me from their true self, from their essence, and I am doing the same, how can I want the other person or judge if that person loves me or not because of the way he loves or she loves? The person can be loving you with everything that person got inside, and even though that's happening, you might feel not loved. And because you are feeling not loved, this relationship will lead to a breakup. So, the first and foremost understanding for us that I want to invite you to do is, if you have not watched the talk about how to find and maintain a partner relationship, I really invite you to do so, because there I got a little bit more in depth on for us to understand what we want in a relationship, what we truly want, because we believe we want something, but truly inside we want something else. So I gave you an exercise for us to understand how do we want to feel when we are in that relationship. So I truly invite you to actually check out that class, that talk, and do the exercises, because then you will be able to understand how to heal your grief when a relationship actually finishes. Okay, with that being said, let's say at this point that you already know what are your needs, what are the needs of the other, and there in that talk we understood a couple of things, which is, if you are, it's always about us, correct? So if you are in an abusive relationship and you keep choosing to be there, remember that not changing is also a choice that you're making every single day. Okay, so if you're not leaving the relationship, the invitation is for you to go deeper, to leave the surface of this and ask yourself, what is truly going on that I don't have the strength to leave something that I already know is not what I want? This is not attachment. This is fear. If you're talking about an abusive relationship that you are already aware of, go look for the fears inside of you that don't allow you to take a step out. Maybe you are afraid of not being good enough, of not finding anyone else in the world because after all, you already know the shit of this person. And imagine starting all over again and finding someone else and then figuring out other shits. Because let's be honest here. If is if our relationships is about us, then it doesn't matter if you keep changing your partner. However, that's why it's so important we do the work inside. Because we have to understand that person is giving me this love. Do I want to accept that love or I do not want to accept? If you are in an abusive relationship and you are choosing to stay there, this literally has everything to do with your own fears. Your fear maybe of not being good enough to find someone else, your fear of the unknown, or your fear of being alone, your fear of not being able to support yourself financially, or whatever that might be. And then you have to work. Has nothing to do with that relationship. You see, that was just a mirror. Then you have to work on these fears in order to be able to work on your self-esteem and strength, if that's the case, in order to be able to say goodbye to that relationship. This is the most, you know, uh, strong case that I'm saying here. Now let's go into something that is not that obvious, right? Maybe you have a breakup, or you want to. Let's put it this way. I want to invite you to actually figure out what it is selfishness and what it is self-love. Okay? Let's say you are in this relationship, and if you are expecting the other person to put you as the most important person of her life, you're being selfish. So, the main difference between self love and selfishness is self love is when I am the most important person of my life. Selfishness is when I want to be the most important person of your life. So, if you actually broke up because you thought you were not being given a healthy, uh, a healthy companionship, like someone used this word. I want to use exactly the same word. A loving, committed relationship. Well, if the other person was simply putting having self love and setting their own limits, then you are the one being selfish. Because the other person, whenever we are in a relationship, we need to remember this. There are two individuals that should be whole in their own selves, and then they interact with each other. Not saying this is easy, okay? I'm just saying how it was supposed to be. As I said, we don't know how to love. So I hope we keep walking and learn uh, how to be able to be in a relationship respecting the individuality of the other person. However, be aware that respecting the individuality of the other is not the other being abusive towards you, being not a good person towards you, and telling you, I am like this, you have to accept me. Absolutely not. There is a difference on that. You are, whenever the person says that, and you realize that their actions hurt you being there is you not having self love, because you are not having the power to choose to say, I deserve better. That's not what I want. And I'd rather be alone than receive only this, because I know I deserve better. Okay, so this is one case. A different case is me here in this healthy relationship most of the time. I love that person. I have fun with that person. That person is my companion. But you know what? I wish that person gave me more attention. I wish that person thought about me first than thought about their own selves. Well, then that's on you in order to understand and ask yourself, what inside of me I don't allow myself to have self love. I don't allow myself to put my own limits in this relationship because it is inside of you. That's why you don't allow the other to do that. You feel you're not loved if the other is not fulfilling everything that you think the other should be fulfilling. Because probably in your unconscious, you believe that loving someone is being at their disposal 100% of the time, is never saying no, and so on. So why Ella is so important? Why everything these talks that I'm bringing here to you? What are my goals with these talks? Well, first we have to bring to our understanding to open up our mind to see reality from a different perspective. Because when we are able to see reality from a different perspective and say, "Oh wow, there are other ways that I can look into this situation," we will figure out that our power lies within. The other is simply showing us what to do, but they are all just giving information towards us. Then what do? We have to retrieve our information from our unconsciousness. This thing that I told you, what is love to you? Do you allow yourself to say no for someone you love? Or you believe you have to say yes all the time? This are information that we have in our unconscious, and we have to be able to access that, to bring into consciousness, to look and say, "Oh wow, now I have a different choice. Now I will use another tool in order to integrate that information." For example, if you figure out that actually you believe that being loved means the other person is available 100% of the time in this very moment, and that person cannot say no to you because you will feel unloved, then what do you have an invitation to do? Use any healing tool in order to boost your self-confidence, in order for you to heal uh, your inner child that believes, that has a misconception about love. Now you're going to start bringing those and you start healing on that, and you will see the transformation in your life as a consequence, not as something that you have to push through. Okay, so remember that whatever the case might be, the invitation will always be for you to do the internal work. Okay, so I want to go into a little bit, since I said about grief. By the way, if you're part of the portal, I invite you to actually do a really powerful meditation, which is around, I think, 30 minutes, I don't know, that is called Breakup Grief. Okay, so I invite you to go there. In this talk, I'm just bringing, this different perception. Let's see, I just want to talk here for 30, 40 minutes. So let's see if I get to do the meditation. But if you are in the portal, just access that meditation, because that's going to be the healing tool I'm inviting you to use in order to uh, start healing, the process of healing your grief. Okay, I just didn't want to forget that. Well, I received this message that I want to share a part of this message with you so we can start, peeling, stop being the surface of the problem and start going a little bit deeper so we can start bringing whatever is hidden in these layers, this veil of illusions to the surface. Okay? So, someone said, "My husband and I separated 2 years ago, and now we're going through a divorce. As much as I want him back, I understand I must first let go of the attachment to him." There is more things written, but I'm gonna separate it so we can talk about this exact points. First of all, what I invite us, if you are going through that or went through that, there is so much material you can work on here. Here you go. They are separated for 2 years, but she wants him back. And she understands that she must first let go of the attachment to him. That's good. She already knows she has an attachment towards him. That's great. However, you are still only the surface. Why are you attached to him? I want you to actually be able, if you're watching this, Please start writing it down. What are you attached to? After you finish this, I want to invite you to understand one thing. Go a little bit deeper and ask yourself. Forget, you can start with the relationships. For example, with the other person. I am attached to how he takes care of me, how he, I don't know. Whenever you finish that, I want to invite you to actually perform the same exact exercise and ask, what am I attached? What ideas am I attached to? Maybe you're not attached to that person. You are used to that person because you have been married. I don't know for how long because you haven't told me, but you have been married. You got used to that. Maybe you already, like you already know his shit. And you already know a little bit how to deal with that shit. And actually, you're attached to the idea of having a family. It's not necessarily him, it's the idea of being married because you are identified. You were a married woman for a long time. Maybe you're feeling lost. Again, has nothing to do with him, but you're feeling lost because out of the blue, your life changed. Again, we are not used to cycles. We don't know, as George Drexter says, that dying is actually a law of life. So, what are you attached to? Is the idea of having a family? Is the idea of being the wife of someone? What are you attached to? Go a little bit deeper here because maybe your attachment is not to him, you're just used to him. And yes, changes. Our brain, our body is afraid of change. A lot of people, even, for example, I want to give you my personal example. I'm a person that you tell me right away, let's change country. I don't think twice. I'm like, I have my bag already ready. I don't even ask you questions. I'm ready. So I deal okay with changes like this. However, when it's related to relationships and to emotional attachments, this is a completely different story for me. See, I'm not attached. I don't have a problem. I'm not resisting the change. I'm resisting an idea that I identify with. Okay, I hope that was clear. So I invite you to actually go a little bit deeper here. Are you attached to what? I'm talking about you, not about him. Second, you said here, as much as I want him back. Now I want you to write down and tell me, why do you want him back? And you're going to say, because he is a loving person, because, after all, he takes care of me in this way, and this. Write it down. Don't judge yourself. Don't censor yourself. Write it down. Why do you want him back? You might see a lot of qualities that he has. And I'm not saying that he does not have. Okay? But now I invite you to do something. It's really common for us human beings to forget the bad parts. This is a sense of a defense mechanism of our unconsciousness. For example, let me give you a touchable example. If you felt a trauma, let's take away from a relationship. You felt a trauma, a really huge trauma. Someone, I don't know, hit you. You went through something really bad. You might still have memories of that part. You, for sure, you remember the pain, but in order to protect you, maybe you won't remember the details. When people get raped, when people get robbed, and you ask them details, they were there. A lot of them cannot recall. And why is that? This is a defense mechanism. Let's go back to our relationships. Maybe you're going to remember a couple of things that are bad, but you have to ask yourself, you have to go there. Remember, why? My invitation for you is, why? In the first place, you guys got separated. You have to be able to tell yourself. For example, if you're still just looking at the external situation, you might answer me simply because he cheated on me or because I cheated on him. I don't know, you are already attached or you are putting down on the external situation. That's completely fine. Write it down. Don't do not judge yourself. Write down anything that comes out. But I'm inviting you to take a step deeper. Okay, so let's say he cheated. Was this truly the reason why you guys broke up? No. Let's go one step further. What it is, be honest with yourself. This is for you. You're writing down to yourself. You're not showing this to no one. What happened? And I'm not talking here about faults or not faults. I'm inviting you to look inside, because relationships, again, are a possibility for us to look inside and evolve inside. What happened until you guys reached that point? And how did you feel when you were betrayed or when you betrayed? We tend to forget the challenges. Okay? So don't forget to look back and say, was I fulfilled? Was I happy? Was I growing in that relationship? Or was I only comfortable in that relationship? Or that relationship became something that was simply a habit, something I'm used to. Ask yourself that. That's how we start digging into the real causes of that. So my question for you is, why you want him back? Another question, do you want him back but he has to change? You want him back but changed all the things that caused your guys fights and disagreements and discomfort? Or you worked on yourself and you want him back exactly the way he is? Don't expect the other to change. The only one who can change is you. And here again, going back to what I said about love, we're learning how to love, right? So we have to have the discernment. That's the biggest invitation. We have to have the discernment to understand, why do I want this person back? How do I love? Because what it is being in a relationship, as I said, we are whole, two whole beings that grow and evolve together, respecting their individuality. So we already know that individuals are completely different universes within themselves. So me expecting the other to love and feel and do and show and communicate the way I do, it's literally, in my opinion, irrational. But we do that. So what can we do in order for a marriage, to a relationship to succeed? Work on our tolerance, work on our discernment to understand what it is inside of me that I can and want to change in order to evolve and grow. What am I going to be able to tolerate? What I'm going to be able to heal on myself in order to accept the love that the other person is showing me? What do I have to work on myself to trust that other person? That's about relationship. Uh, 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 Tolerância, being tolerant, being resilient, which is different than staying in that because we are afraid of change, because we don't believe we deserve better. This, when you stay there in that relationship, that's an attachment, but it's not an attachment to the person. It's an attachment to what the person provides to you emotionally, financially, mentally, whatever it is. So I invite you to ask yourself, why do you want him back? Okay, going further with this sentence. Uh, she kept going. If we are meant to end up together, we will. Well, this is beautiful, this is right, but I just want again to invite you to go one step deeper. Are you just telling me because like you believe if it is to happen, then it's gonna happen, or because you trust life and you trust your path and you trust that uh, you are gonna end up with anyone that actually is in the same vibrational level as you, that you're going to have the opportunity to keep evolving and growing. Whatever you leave still dies. Do you used to have this movement with your partner of growing, accepting both of you, and this interconnection, understanding that the other person is not perfect. The other person is not going to be perfect the same way you are not going to be perfect. Actually, perfect in whatever way we're talking, right? Because we are perfect. Anyways, we just cannot accept the other human for what he is or she is. So, if we are meant to end up together, you will. You will end up together with anyone that you open space with. If you decide to look back at that relationship, this breakup, and try, now I invite you to go a little bit deeper. Go and look to other relationships breakups that you had. And go look for patterns on those. Did you believe that your first boyfriend, like back in whatever, years ago, didn't give you enough attention? And then this one also doesn't give you enough attention. Well, I'm inviting you to look for patterns, for things that are obviously they're going to manifest differently because people are different, situations are different, but the root cause is the same. Is the attention that you weren't getting? So now, if you start seeing patterns, I invite you to work on yourself. If you're not receiving attention, why aren't you giving the attention to yourself that you want to receive? Now, whenever you start healing that, that's when you do the spiral up of evolution. That's when you start vibrating in order to manifest someone else. If you are still the same person that were in that relationship 2 years ago, why do you want to go back to where you actually left? Just because you are used to it? As a habit, do you want to go through all of that again? The hardest part you already did, which is you guys took the decision to separate. So if you went through that, I'm going to ask you two questions. One, have you done the internal work? And whenever now that you guys can be back, this is going to be a new relationship because the old relationship died. So you're ready to start a new cycle? Or you're going to evolve yourself and open yourself up to other people in order to reach the level of relationship that you want. Because she kept going, which is, but I'm also afraid that I will wait on him forever and miss out on the opportunity to find a loving, committed relationship I truly desire. So if you're waiting the other person to change, my dear, I know it's going to hurt, but right away I'm going to tell you, you are the one who have to work on yourself and open space in order to find someone else that can be a loving, committed relationship. You're not waiting for him. You're actually waiting for you. No one waits for someone else. If you're waiting for him to change, you are in illusion. We can only change ourselves. No one will ever change the other. The change is only possible when we want, when the person wants to change. So I hope you can look and understand. Well, it's physics. Nobody occupies the same space at the same time. You have to be able to let go in order to find someone else. I've met people, I worked with women that were in relationships with non-available men. They knew they were not available, but they kept in those relationships for years and years and years. And the reason why they stayed is because they were like, oh, but I cannot find anyone else. And I love that person, obviously. But I want to be a mother. I want to have a family. Do you see that you're making a current of force in opposite directions? So you are with someone that is not available, but you want to be a family and you love that person. I'm not saying that person doesn't have the qualities that you admire, that you like being with that person, but that person is not available to give you a family, to give you what you want. And even though you're like, oh, okay, I'm just here because I'm here. Trust me, one thing that we don't think about it, you are also vibrating in what I cannot have. I'm vibrating it in I don't deserve. You don't have space. You don't open space for you to meet someone else. Oh, that's not true. I go out, but I just meet shit. I'm sorry, that's the way they say it. I just meet men that has nothing to do with me. Exactly. There is no space, and you are still vibrating. You still believe you don't deserve. Until you let go of that, open space, start working on yourself. Give yourself love, give yourself attention. Do something for you. You're gonna cook your favorite food, you're gonna buy your favorite plant, you're gonna meet your friends, and then you're gonna go, okay, now I'm single. Go to that other talk that I told you. Let's do a list of how I want to feel in a relationship. Now, where I'm gonna go in order to find this partner. I'm not gonna find in a club 4 a.m. on Tuesday a partner that meditates in the morning. So again, let's deal with reality. Now you're gonna start asking for help, your guides, your higher self. Allow life to make its magic. But the problem is we don't trust life. So in order to close this talk, because I want to give you an exercise also, but if you're in the portal, watch that. That's the deep tool for us to let it go of that partner, and whatever happens, happens. Okay. I want to share something personally, which is so interesting that I have been asking in one relationship that I had. It was a really long relationship that I had. I have been asking my guides, my higher self, because I was in so much pain, but I could not relate those pain to actually external events. I could not find, oh, this person is an asshole. I could not say this person doesn't love me the way he can love me. I could not find an external solution, as an external cause. What did I do? I started thinking I was crazy. Something was wrong with me, because why was I feeling all that pain? Oh my God, help me out. And if I'm being honest, it took me 2 years, 2 years going through the pain, okay? And doing all the tools that I can tell you, because I had to figure out there was nothing regarding the other person. Nothing made sense. I was asking myself, did I want to be with that person? Absolutely not. And I took the hardest step, which was to leave. My life changed completely. Why still this is coming to me in dreams, in the middle of the day, and this anxiety and this stress level? Well, I was not dealing with the other person. I was feeling betrayed. The pain of betrayal in all levels were hurting me, until I was able to dive deeper enough to understand that the biggest pain that I was actually feeling was my betrayal towards my own self. I put myself in that situation. I betrayed myself first before he betrayed me. And I'm not talking about having another partner. I'm not talking about this type of betrayal. It was a harder betrayal, a betrayal of character. How were you able to do that with me? I was there for you. So, truly, what I was healing, I thought it was a breakup, but it was the betrayal I have done to myself in the first place. So, that's the invitation for you to go deeper into understanding the causes of that. Okay, because that's how we heal. That's how we deal with these breakups and open space in order to receive. And life is so crazy because I have been asking things. Now, after a long time, I can clearly see something that I had no idea was happening. Okay, I was just going through the pain. I sat there and I didn't try to push that pain away. I cried it out. I think I don't even know how much I cried. I swear to God, I don't know how much tears I could have. I didn't even know it was possible. I think I cried more those years, that year, than my whole life. That was great. Let it go. Anyways, it's so interesting because life presented to me after that another level of partnership. that was much more aligned with where I am in my journey of evolution. By the way, I would even like risk to say that the daily interactions were easy with the other person, but they were also unconscious. What I feel inside this relationship is what I was asking for. Was my opportunity to have someone holding my hand, growing with me in the same path, in the same direction, with the same values. So, my dear, whoever is going through a breakup, start looking and understanding these points that I brought you here. Let's start from there. You know, if you realize that you were telling you like a lie or something, start working on opening space, but opening space for real. You cannot jump out of the cliff and keep holding it. Whenever you give the first step, the universe puts the floor under you, but you have to give the first step. Okay, don't forget that there is no right or wrong answer either. If you choose to go right or left, is to stay with one person or the other. Your soul will have the same exact opportunities to evolve. The only thing that is going to change is the situation and the people. But the challenges and the opportunities to learn and grow are going to be the same. So also take this away. You know, it's a choice you can make. Was I happy? I want to be back. Why? Why did we decide to break up in the first place? Remember to tell yourself the truth. This really helps us out. Okay? And telling yourself the truth about the bad things absolutely does not invalidate that you had great moments and that relationship was a success for those years. It was. For more than the breakup might hurt. And a lot of people say you just meet someone in their divorce, which is crazy, or in the breakup. Uh, that does not change the fact of what happened. And in that level of consciousness in your journey, that was right for you. How great! If you try to see this way, if you decide to see this way, how great that as of right now, you have an opportunity to learn something new. You're not there stuck still. You keep evolving and growing. So the exercise, it's gonna be quick one. I just want to invite you, if you're not in the portal, just close your eyes with me for a second. Take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. You're gonna start connecting to your body. Let go of anything, any noise that is surrounding you. Start connecting to your own self, to your breath, to your body, to this present moment. And I'm going to invite you to think about this person that you broke up with, is about to break up, or you divorced. You're going to see this person in front of you. And you're going to simply look into this person's eyes with no judgments. Don't say anything. There is no more need to say anything. Simply stay there, looking into this person's eye. You're going to imagine a light coming from your heart, the color you want. And this light surrounds this person in front of you. While you're still looking to this person's eye, you're going to say to them their name. I forgive you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. I love you. and I am grateful. State the person's name again and repeat. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and I am grateful. You're going to repeat this exercise at least for 21 times, imagining this person in front of you. And if you want to keep going, you can keep going. Don't judge your feelings. A lot of feelings are going to arise here. Do not judge. Do not try to push this feeling away. Simply keep repeating these 4 sentences. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. And thank you. And whenever you feel ready, you're going to look into this person's eyes and say, I take all my responsibility for this pain. 50% of fault for this breakup is mine. The other 50 is yours. I forgive us for all the pain we have caused to each other. I understand that that's the best we were able to do with our love, with our level of consciousness. Right now, I want to let you go with love so I can open space to my own self. You can see that person stepping away, going away. If you want to dissolve that person into a light, you can do that as well. And you're still going to be there right now, only with you. And you're going to do the same exact exercise for your own self for at least 21 times. You're going to state your name. Ella Morello. Please forgive me. I am sorry. I love you and I am grateful. Ella Morello. Please forgive me. I am sorry. I love you and I am grateful. You're going to do this exercise at least for 21 times. You can hug yourself, give yourself love. And whenever you're done, you can rub your palms together, bring it to your eyes, and slowly come back to our reality. I invite you to perform this exercise every day. If you can do it for 3 minutes to 4 minutes to 10 minutes, let these feelings come to the surface. Do this exercise for at least 21 days. And then share with me, DM me, send me an email for where you are at in that point. Because I am sure that you're going to have discovered many different internal materials. And we are going to start working on the grief from that point on. So I hope this can have brought you any insight, can have brought you a tool to start. This is a simple tool. But if done, this will really help you out in your grief after a breakup. So thank you so much for being here with me today. Tomorrow we're gonna do this the talk at another time. We're gonna do at night because I have a woman's immersion tomorrow. That is this course that I teach, so I won't be able to be here at 12:30. So I'm gonna post on the stories later on the time of the live of tomorrow. Okay, thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.